Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, and if you're new here, welcome sis. My name is Yap, and as you guys can see by that title, I'm back again with another client tutorial. Today I'll be slaying my beautiful dark skin client, doing a nice glitter eye with a pop of color on the bottom. I hope you guys really enjoy this video. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell and let me know what other videos you guys want to see, and we're gonna get started. So I did do her brows off camera, and if you guys want an in-depth client eyebrow tutorial, I have one on my channel, so you guys could go check that out. But the first thing I'm going to do is prime her eyes, and I'm just applying a thin layer of primer all over her eyes, and then I'm going to blend it out. A little bit of primer goes a long way. You don't want to use a lot or else your eyeshadows will come out really patchy. So I just spread a thin layer of that, and now I'm going to basically like buff and blend that into her skin. Also, all the products I use will be down in the description box below. So now I'm taking a brown eyeshadow and just patting that on her lid. I'm using a really fluffy eyeshadow brush to do so because I feel like eyeshadow brushes that are fluffy have the best blend. So I'm just patting and blending the eyeshadow as I go. And if you have trouble with like blending eyeshadows, what brushes to use, and you just want like an eyeshadow one-on-one video, I also have that on my channel, so you guys could check that out as well. But yeah, I'm just blending this one eyeshadow all over her lid, making sure to continuously add more color if I need to. And now I'm applying another darker brown eyeshadow just to add some depth and dimension, and I'm using that same fluffy brush that we used for the first color. I believe that's the Morphe M505 brush. I'm really focusing that dark brown eyeshadow on the outer part of her eye just to add some more depth and dimension and accentuate her eye. And now I'm going to take a little bit of translucent powder and put that underneath her eyebrow because I realized the eyeshadow in that area wasn't blending properly because the base was a little too wet. So I just took some translucent powder to further blend that out. And now I'm taking a nice deep reddish brown color. This is from the Juvias blush palette. I believe it's like a bronzer blush color, but I used it in the eye because I felt like it was really pretty. And I also placed that right on top of the dark brown. And now I'm taking a tiny bit of black eyeshadow on the same Morphe M505 brush. I used one brush for this whole entire look, and I just focused that on the outer part of her eye once again to further add more depth and dimension. And now I'm going to clean up the eyeshadow look using a little bit of concealer. I'm going to take a very small amount of primer and just dab that on her eye, and then I'm going to blend that out, just prepping for like the gold glitter and the gold eyeshadow. I was kind of going for like a soft cut crease type of look. I didn't really want like definite lines, so that's why I'm just like blending out the primer. And now I'm just going to apply some gold eyeshadow to prep for the glitter. I recommend that whenever you're doing a glitter look to put an eyeshadow that's the same color as the glitter underneath it so that the glitter stands out way more. I swear it will make such a big difference. It'll just make the glitter pop a lot. So after I applied the gold eyeshadow, I'm just going back in with that Morphe M505 brush that had the brown eyeshadow on it to just blend out the edges of it so that it can look really soft and that there'll be no harsh lines. Now I'm dabbing a little bit of eyelash glue all over her eye, and I'm just going to pat that into place so that when I apply the glitter, which I'm applying right here, it'll look very like spontaneously put, and it won't look like patchy and like different spots on the eye. I hope that makes sense, but I just feel like I get better results that way. And now I'm going to line her lid with some black liquid liner. So I'm not sure if anyone noticed, but throughout the eyeshadow process, I tend to lift up her eyebrow like what I'm doing right now. And if you're curious, I do this because I feel like the skin on the eye tends to fold a lot, so I find that when I lift up the brow, when I do the eyeshadow or anything on the eye, I don't miss any spots on the eye, if that makes sense. Like when they open their eye, it won't be like empty patches because of the folded skin. But anyways, so I didn't want to do a wing with the black liner. I kind of wanted to like smoke it out into the eyeshadow, so that's what I'm doing right now, and I'm just taking a bullet brush to do so. And now I'm going to apply lashes, and I find that when I apply eyelash glue on the lash band and on my client's actual lash line, the lashes are more secure. They have a stronger hold, and I just like to do it that way because you never know what your client is doing. They may be at a party, they may be having a drunk night, so you want to make sure that them eyelashes don't go anywhere. And now we're going to move on to the face. So I'm going to take the Milk Hydro Grip Primer and the Pond's Moisturizing Face Cream. The face cream will obviously moisturize the skin, and the Milk Hydro Grip Primer will allow the makeup to last all day and have the makeup, you know, grip to something. So that will ensure some longevity with the makeup. I also set the oily parts of her face with some translucent powder because this will help contain the oils and give a more matte finish so that the oils don't come through as much. And I let that sit for a little bit, and while that sit, I also just applied the foundation, and I tend to use my finger and just apply the foundation in spots because this allows me to have a full coverage look, but it'll feel really light because of the way I'm applying it. And I also make sure to dust away that translucent powder because if you don't, it might look a little cakey. It's not meant to like stay there. You just set it, let it bake, and then wipe it away, and then you apply your foundation. And now I'm going to buff that foundation into her skin. So when blending out the foundation, I use a combination of patting and swiping motions because when I swipe, it allows me to blend out the foundation fast, but patting makes sure that there's no streakiness. So I kind of like pat and swipe in one motion to get like a nice flawless blend. And I also make sure to blend it down the neck to make sure that everything is one color and that her face matches her body. Now we're moving on to highlighting the face. So I'm just taking some concealer on a concealer brush, and I'm going to apply that to all the areas of her face that I want to be highlighted. And I like to use a concealer brush because I feel like it gives me a full coverage look because I'm spreading it, but it also gives me a light feeling look because I'm only using a little bit of concealer, and I'm making that work by spreading it around. So instead of like applying it straight out the bottle, which you can, it's your preference, but I just like to use a concealer brush. And I'm also going to go in with another concealer. This is the Kevyn Aucoin Skin Enhancer, just to add, I don't know, I feel like the first concealer wasn't light enough, so I wanted to go in with a concealer that was a little lighter. And this concealer is very full coverage, which I want, but once again, because I'm using the concealer brush, I'm only using a thin layer, and it gives a really full coverage look, so it'll feel light, but your face will be really beat. So to contour, I'm going to take the Makeup Revolution concealer, and I'm using the color C18 and just applying a really thin layer of that on the places I want to contour. But I wasn't really going for like a harsh contour. That's why this contour shade is a little more warm than it is cool, because I kind of wanted to add some warmth. She didn't really need anything chiseled down, so yeah, that's what I'm doing right now. And I also like to use the same brush that I used to blend out the foundation to blend out the contour as well. I don't know, one, I'm kind of lazy, so like it saves me from having to wash a whole bunch of brushes out later on when it's time, and because I just feel like the products blend better when you use the same brushes within the same application. Not the same brushes on each client. I don't want y'all to think I'm dirty. I mean the same brushes within the same makeup application. And I also like to take that same brush and blend out the edges of the highlight just so that it's easier to blend out later and the highlight and the contour really mesh together. Just a random thought, I wanted to ask you guys if you wanted a video on like must-have products or like products I think is necessary to have in your makeup kit, or just to have if you're a makeup lover or getting into makeup and stuff, especially for like darker skin girls, because I know how hard it can be to find really good products that won't make you look ashy or casket ready. So if you guys are interested in something like that, let me know, but if you're not, then also let me know so I don't waste my time. But anyways, I'm going to further blend out that highlight using a beauty blender. You know, I have so many beauty blender dupes, such as like the Real Techniques beauty sponge and the Shop Miss A beauty sponges, but for some reason I always find myself coming back to the original beauty blenders. They're just so light and airy, and they just blend out everything perfectly. So I'm going to set the highlighted areas of the face now, and I'm going to use the eyeshadow brush and the Sacha Cosmetics Buttercup setting powder to do so. And I like to use the eyeshadow brush and go in to the places that crease the fastest, and I find that to be underneath the eye and in the crevices of the nose. And I find that setting it this way just sets the under eye better, and it reduces the creasing in the eye as well. And I also like to go into the places that are like kind of hard to get like really precise applications of setting powder with like a setting brush or a cosmetic sponge like I'm using right here. So that's why I use like the eyeshadow brush to set those areas first, and then I go in with a sponge like this one, you know, the disposable latex free sponges, to set the remainder areas of the highlighted spots. And I also like to go in with a setting powder that's a little darker than that. So I'm using the chestnut setting powder from Ben Nye and set underneath the contoured areas. I use one that's a little bit darker because I don't want the underneath the contoured area to be too light compared to the highlighted areas. So yeah, that's what I'm doing, and I let that bake for a little bit, and while that bakes I just set the rest of the face, which is kind of like the contoured areas, with some translucent powder. Now I'm going to wipe that away, and I wipe it away using the same brush that we used for foundation and contour, just in case there's any chance of flashback. That reduces it tremendously and kind of like gets rid of it too, if there is any, you know, chance of flashback. And I also like to take a setting brush and use that to wipe away the powder underneath the eye, because the eye could be really delicate, so you want to use a more delicate brush compared to the foundation brush. So I'm gonna take a little bit of bronzer, and I'm using the Morphe Glamour Bronze in Supreme to just add some more warmth to her face. And I feel like when you're doing dark skin clients, bronzer is really important, because you want your chocolatey melanated clients to stay that way. You know, you don't want them to look casket ready with like gray undertones. So make sure to use a really nice warm bronzer, especially on your dark skin clients. It is essential. I swear it makes a very big difference. And I'm also placing a little bit of bronzer on her nose to slightly contour it. I'm not the biggest fan of like heavy nose contours unless my client asks for it. I really like to use bronzers on the nose because I feel like adding that warmth to the center of the face just pops it and just makes it even more beautiful. Okay, so I'm also gonna apply some blush to her cheeks, well really her temples and also her nose, because I just feel like that's also a nice pop of color to the face. I'm then going to use some highlight, which I'm doing now, which is the Artist Couture Conceited highlighter. And now we're gonna move on to that pop of color underneath the eye. So a lot of people always wonder how I do these like pop of colors underneath the eye, and I tend to use lip liners because I always find more varieties of colors in lip liners rather than eyeliners. And I just apply that to the bottom lash line, and then I set it with some eyeshadow. Whatever eyeshadow is the same color as the lip liner that I'm using, that is what I use, and I place it right on top. Now I'm going to use the Wet n Wild Mega Length Mascara and apply that to her bottom lashes to accentuate them because they were really long and beautiful. And then I'm going to go into lining her lips. So I'm using this brand, One and Only, from the beauty supply store. These lip liners are $1, but they are the best lip liners ever. These are like the only lip liners I use because they just glide on so beautifully and they last pretty long. And they're also $1. Like, they're unbeatable, okay, period. And then I'm gonna use a nude lip lacquer, and this is from Maybelline. It's in the shade Tease. Yo, it's their Vivid lip lacquer line. Yo, these are, oh my gosh, I love these. These are my absolute favorite. They glide on so beautifully, they last really long, and they're just bomb. But I kind of wanted to like make it last even longer, so I put some eyeshadow on top of that because, you know, when your client wears a mask, it might rub off. So I kind of like set the lip gloss so that it lasts longer, and then I made her like pucker lips, and then I put some clear lip gloss over it, and that is the Essence Clear Lip Gloss, which is also my favorite clear lip gloss because it smells really good, it lasts long too, and it's just popping. So to set the face, I take some setting spray. This is the Urban Decay All Nighter, and then I spray it into the Real Techniques beauty sponge because I like the flat edge that it has, and I just pounce that into the skin as opposed to like spraying it all over, because I just feel like it gives the skin a more skin-like finish, and it takes away from any powderiness or cakiness that the skin may look like it has. And also, we just put on mad layers of makeup, so we have to set all those layers. And then I give the face one final spray of the dewy setting spray from Anastasia Beverly Hills to make the skin look really dewy and nice. And this is the finished look. I hope you guys really enjoyed this video. As you guys could see, she really loved it. And yeah, I hope you guys really enjoyed it. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell, and please comment and let me know what other videos you guys want to see from me. Make sure to follow me on Instagram at YapDamuA and on Snapchat at YapYap16. And I'll talk to you guys in next week's video. Bye.